All right, today we're diving into the fascinating psychology behind our social habits. You know, the ones we sometimes think make us a little strange?
Have you ever left a party and your brain just instantly starts replaying every single thing you said? Or how about that feeling when you're in a room and you suddenly feel like every single eye is on you? Yeah, it can honestly feel like your social programming has a glitch, right? Some kind of bug you just can't seem to patch.
Well, here's a pretty powerful idea to think about. What if those aren't bugs at all? What if they're actually features? You know, side effects of running a much more powerful, more complex operating system up there in your mind.
This is where we completely reframe things. We're so quick to use labels like social awkwardness, overthinking, anxiety. But what if that so-called awkwardness is actually your brain doing some seriously high-level processing? What if that overthinking is really deep analysis? And what if that social anxiety is just a form of heightened awareness? See, it's a total shift from a language of flaws to a language of features.
So, what's powering all these features? Well, to understand that, we have to go to the engine room, the brain itself. And this whole idea is actually grounded in a real neurological concept.
And that concept is called hyperconnectivity. This is the key to everything. It basically means different parts of your brain are talking to each other way more than usual. It creates this incredible web of thoughts where everything is connected. And that leads to some amazingly complex and associative thinking.
You know, the best way to picture this is to think of your mind like a web browser. Most people might have, a few tabs open at any given time, but a hyper-connected mind, whoa, we're talking dozens, maybe even hundreds of tabs open at once. You're processing the conversation, the temperature in the room, a memory from last week, and the subtle subtext of someone's tone, all at the exact same time.
So now that we've got this idea of hyperconnectivity in our heads, let's go back and re-examine some of those strange social habits and see them in a totally new light.
Let's kick things off with a classic. That intense feeling you get when you walk into a room, or right after you speak up in a meeting. That sudden, totally certain conviction that every single person is focused on you and probably judging you.
And the internal monologue goes a little something like this, right? You stumble on just one word, and your brain screams, "Oh, they definitely noticed I said that weird thing. Everyone is probably thinking about it right now." Man, it feels incredibly real in that moment.
But here's the reframe. Psychologists actually call this the spotlight effect. And get this, it isn't a sign that you're paranoid or narcissistic. It's a byproduct of having advanced self-awareness. Your brain is just so good at monitoring your own actions that it kind of assumes everyone else is too.
All right, let's move on to habit number 2. This is the one where the conversation might be over, but for you, the analysis is just beginning. You're lying in bed at night, just replaying a chat from hours earlier, picking it apart piece by tiny piece. You know exactly how it goes. I should have said this instead of that. Or you get totally stuck on one tiny little phrase someone used, wondering, what did they really mean when they said that? You're basically running diagnostics on a conversation that's been over for hours.
But this isn't just you being obsessive. It's actually a high-level cognitive skill called metacognition, or, thinking about thinking. It's a sign of a deeply analytical mind that is just driven to learn and understand social dynamics. You're not just remembering the conversation, you're completely deconstructing it.
So, after looking at all of this, what's the big takeaway here? The message is actually pretty simple, but it's also really profound. It's time to stop fighting these traits and start embracing your unique cognitive style.
This even reframes how you socialize. Maybe you prefer small groups or really deep one-on-one conversations over big, loud parties. Well, that's not being antisocial, it's selective socializing. It's an intelligent strategy to conserve that immense cognitive energy for the interactions that truly matter to you. You're not avoiding your social life, you're curating it.
So let's put it all together nice and neat. That tendency you have to overthink, that's your capacity for deep thought. That feeling of social anxiety, that's your heightened awareness of the world around you. All these little quirks are just signs of a unique perspective. It's all about the reframe. Your mind is a feature, not a bug.
And that leads us to the final question I want to leave you with. Instead of trying to fix these parts of yourself, what could you unlock if you just started to work with them? What will you achieve by fully embracing your strange and, yeah, I'll say it, superior mind?